Hey, we're just cutting straight into it.
Cutting right into it.
How's everybody doing today
Awesome,
out in Triggerland?
Awesome. What up there, Trigger Mob?
So we have a really cool show today. We have Mike the Wolf Basile. He's going to be here today.
Yes.
Along with my Shi Fu Moises, my first instructor in the martial arts, and we're going to be talking about training, how he trains, his up and coming champion. And things of that nature. We're going to talk about this. He's going to give us his understanding on how the training is going. And
his experience.
Yep.
How it is to be. We had someone similar on a couple months ago and talking about the lifestyle of a fighter, which is not easy. It's glorified by the media. It's glorified by what you watch on TV. But if you look behind the scenes,
sometimes it's a train wreck.
Yeah, man. It's a lifestyle you choose.
So, guys, let's get ready for another Talk Real Get Real.
I think Shi Fu just popped on.
Yeah, Shi Fu, how are you?
How are you?
Thank you for being on. So here we go, guys. Without any ado, let's get into the intro.
Yes, trigger!
All right, so and we're super little, dude.
Yes.
What's up with that? So let me
where's the
let me just fix that real quick, guys. So go ahead, Shi Fu, if you want to start talking a little bit.
All right, so
and
we had to adjust our studio here today because we have some special guests on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have the whole plethora of equipment like they have on Good Day New York and The View and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, we are so large. We're living so large.
I know, man. So our multinational show is done by by Best Buy equipment. So
dude, cheaper than Best Buy.
It's cheaper than Best Buy,
dude. Man, right down the road there's this like pawn stop, but this pawn shop that was selling computers. I was like, I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
All right. I mean, it's working, man. It's been holding up. So. And it affords us to give all this wonderful splendor to you guys out there in the Trigger.
Hell yeah! I do want to say we have the Black Society up. We do have. We're just gonna run through stuff really quick, guys.
Remember, this weekend we have the 3-section staff seminar happening at Shi Fu.
Hold on, man. I'm trying to get there.
You said go on, man. You said do your thing.
Hold on. Dun. Yeah, man, you gotta get this. There it is.
Sweet.
There it is. So, guys, Mike's on there. Let me get Mike out. No, it's all good, man.
There you go. Yeah, so this Saturday, May 22nd, hosted by Shi Fu Moises Academy in Great Neck, New York. There's the number right there. Do not call us. Call that number to get the venue going, get the tickets, whatever you need to get. Bring your own 3-section staff. We will not be supplying
I'm not supplying it. So, guys, the number is 516-466-1010. Again, 516-466-1010. If you don't have a 3-section, bring short sticks.
Bring short sticks.
Because the short sticks will work.
Bring a broomstick. Bring something.
No, broomstick won't work. Short sticks. It's got to be something that you guys can move with both hands. So, definitely if you bring the broomstick, you're going to have to break it in half. But,
yes. And bring a helmet with you.
Yes, because there's going to be some lumps.
There's going to be some lumps on there.
Yeah, so it's going to be...
but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be an excellent 3-section staff seminar. I'm very excited about that. And we're going to get on with the show here. So let me move on to the... let's see. Where was the other window? Right. I guess that was it, huh?
That's it.
So that's cool.
You got to put his pick up. You going to put his pick up on?
I will. Dude.
All right, I'm hanging back, man. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Back the fuck off.
I'll let you do your thing.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. You don't get me grumpy now.
It doesn't take much to get you grumpy. It does not take much to get you grumpy.
It really doesn't. All these people around here.
Hey!
Lightning Lionel. Hey! What's going on, brother? It's great to have all you guys on here tonight. Yes. We have a loaded group, man.
We got Coach Gomez on.
Yeah, what's going on, brother? So, without further ado, let's get these warriors on board.
You gonna put his picture on?
Dude, stop it! I'm telling you. Here we go.
It's gonna be a fight in the studio right now.
It's gonna be a fight in the studio. You guys are gonna have ringside seats. And I'm drinking Tiger Life.
Oh man, he always hopped up on Tiger Life.
Dude, like a spider monkey. So here we go, guys. Without
Yeah,
further
you're gonna get
ado.
smacked in the mouth.
Yeah.
So,
Shi Fu, come on in.
Come
We're gonna
on
take
in.
these off for right now. And if I could have Mike, if you could come sit over here, man, and then
on
we'll
in.
rearrange everything. Shajal, why don't you come sit over here?
Okay.
And slide over as much as you can. Everybody slide over.
Ooh, that's nice.
We got
Okay, we got a grouping here.
we got
That's
we got a
nice.
small studio.
Yes,
So
I know.
I got to do all the cursing I could possibly do today because next week we're getting a guy on who doesn't curse because
Yes.
Wow.
no foul mouth.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're gonna
And, it's part of his beliefs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so-
And
Well, we appreciate that.
we're all
We
we're
don't-
all
we
inclusive show, man. So we got
don't
respect
all have
of
to
it.
speak French.
Yes.
no, but I was taught by my teacher and my other instructors that freedom of my mouth is okay.
Yes.
Because-
What was that thing you used to say? You have no what?
I have no hair on my
Yeah,
tongue.
you have no hair on your
He
tongue.
used
There
to
you
tell
go.
me that all the time. He has no hair on his
I
tongue.
was
So
a bad example.
he was.
I was bad,
See,
bad
you
influence.
don't really, dude. When he used to walk into
Oh
tournaments,
my God.
people used to be like, "Oh,
Like, oh my
no,
God.
it's Moses' guys again." And I'm telling you, man, if we got rooked, if there was any inclination of we were getting robbed, he'd walk into the middle of the the ring, start yelling at everybody
In Spanish.
Spanish, cursing his ass off, yelling at everybody, has his finger in the center referee's face.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was bad. It was bad. So
so
I
bad.
blame all my behavior on him. He was my example. So
Yeah, I was.
alligators breed alligators.
Yes,
That's
yes.
that's my.
Oh, when you get older, you start growing, your hair start leaving your body, and you start to rethink things. My teacher was the same way. I was very, very proud of the fact that he was a tough guy in his youth. And then he looked up and he goes, that's one of the things that I'm more regretful about, those things that I did show you. He said, I didn't ever want to smack that guy. He got an award at an event.
I was just about to say this. I tell you this all the time, right? What? Yeah, listen to this. I've told you this
He
before.
got an award, and he walked and find a garbage can and drag it back into the center and threw the award in the garbage can in the middle of the whole thing.
Oh yes, I think I remember you telling
I
me that.
told you that. I tell you that all the time.
And I look at that and I said to myself, oh my God, this guy's out of his mind. And one time, the promoter of the event, he was complaining because we were getting, being shiny stars in Japanese events, we always get the shit on the stick. So he went to complain to the promoter, and the promoter was a big guy, and he was upset because he's running an event, so probably he didn't, he was just like reacted and pushed my teacher, and my teacher punched him in the chest, and dropped him.
Oh.
He was on the floor looking for air. And I was like, that's my teacher, man. This is it.
Yeah, I was very proud of how he acted.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yes.
my story that I'll never forget, and then we'll move on. We'll move on to you, Mike. I'm sorry, but
No worries.
we were in the first martial arts school in Farmingville, and I had to be at least 11 or 12. So we're all sitting inside and we're all going over our forms and everything, and then all of a sudden some ruckus went on outside, and banging on the window, and the windows were fogged up, right? So we couldn't see out. So some guy comes in and starts yelling at him, and he's like, "1 second," and he walks out. Right, so we all run over to the window, and we're like, we stick our eyes. So you got all these little kids' eyes all over the place, and we're staring, and they're yelling at each other. And he goes to the back of the trunk and lifts up the trunk and grabs a shotgun out of the back of the car. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Grabs a shotgun, and all we remember is Shijal went pop, 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 flipped him down like that, hit him with the butt end of the gun, threw the gun back into the car, shut the trunk, and then the guy like took off and left, and we were like, oh, our teacher's amazing. Like, we were so desensitized, and it was like we saw something like that, we were like, oh my God, this is so awesome, because to see your teacher reacting like that to something that's happening right then and there is just awesome. He used to take me outside. We used to sit outside because the school was facing the back of the stores. So we'd sit outside in chairs, and he'd say, look, watch these guys fight. And we'd watch people scrapping on the street. And he's like, that's wrong. You see that? See what he's doing there? That's wrong. That's wrong. That's what we did, and it was like it was part of our growing up, and that's what made the martial arts back then much more realistic than it is now, and because the form of martial arts is flary and just showy, and you don't have to really demonstrate your skills to get respect nowadays.
Right.
Everybody's an instructor, you know? And that's why I was talking to you before, Mike, about how MMA brought about a whole new direction, and people who really weren't teaching legitimate techniques and legitimate fighting ability, they're being called out.
Right.
You know, they were being called out as the MMA was coming in. Now, I grew up with this man, and we were tournament rats. We fought every weekend. And this man brought me into Queens, Harlem, Spanish Harlem, the Bronx, all the places where this little white boy should not be. So I got to see a lot of stuff that most people on the island didn't get to see, and I'm very thankful for that. And I fought in tournaments that were, I'm sure they weren't sanctioned, and they were in basements, and it was all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's experience, and most of the teachers nowadays don't have that experience. But you guys, being in the ring all the time, you have that experience. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How long you've been training with Shi Fu Moises, and you know,
tell us about your journey.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done. You know what it is? I'm hopped up on Tiger Life.
Once you get, that's why I just chill, because the Tiger Life just takes over.
I can have all that energy. I'm climbing the walls right now.
Yeah.
So, I am a young man from Riverhead who discovered fighting at a very young age. I started watching it with my brother when I was about 12, 13 years old. And we usually came from a background, we used to watch WWE growing up, so we already kind of, it was all fake, but we were already into stuff
he said wrestling's fake.
You never say wrestling's fake.
Never say wrestling's fake.
Rock says never say that. Never say the F word.
He's going to be hated.
I'm going to make a lot of haters out of this. So just
Thank you so much. And I want The Rock on the show, man.
We started watching right around the feud between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz was like at its height and still lingering. So we were really encased into all this stuff.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't remember stuff like that. So you were really like heavy duty into
We really got into it. And then once George St. Pierre started getting on the rise as well, you know, we were just totally dead set onto it. We forgot about WWE, actually. And we started watching UFC and started branching out into other things, started watching like some like boxing, kickboxing, and next thing you know I'm watching more fighting sport. Like I'm watching more fighting than I am regular sports.
Sure.
So
how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
Just turned 24 last month.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a long time ago.
I don't.
It's such a long time ago, man.
But I've been watching, and I've been, I won't say fantasizing about it, but I've always been into it. I always wanted to do martial arts when I was a kid, but the way we grew up, we couldn't really afford it as much. So
isn't that the case all the
always,
time?
I went through that.
all the time. And once I grew up, I actually, you know, I had a fight before I started training at the school I'm at now. Way before I met Moses. Shout out Brandon Pizak, by the way. That was this guy I fought. I was fighting at heavyweight. I weighed in at like 240.
How much you weigh?
Right now, walking around like 200. But
Damn.
yeah, yeah. That was a fun time. I didn't even graduate high school yet. I just got a fight, and fought that guy. Ref stopped it in the first round. I got my ass kicked. I had no formal training whatsoever. I did a little bit of boxing, a little bit of groundwork, but nothing to the point where I'm at now.
Yeah. But that's good because that's experience. He used to put me in tournaments and he'd give me a black belt and go, here, get in the ring. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, you're fine. Just fight them.
Send it.
Dude, and it was crazy. We'd be in the Bronx and he'd be like, and there was no weight classes. That's how
that's
dirty,
how old the shit was.
That's how dirty this was. There was no weight classes, so the center referee would be like, all right, give me your cards, and he'd go, all right, stand behind whoever you want to fight. And I had a line behind me. Number one, Kung Fu stylists were always known not to fight, right?
Soft stylists, they used to call us. Soft
stylists until we hit them, right? Yeah. But so Kung Fu stylists were not really, most of them, 85% of them can't fight. So I had a line behind me. Motherfuckers were like taking. I was the butcher chicken at the butcher shop, and everybody's taking fucking numbers waiting, right? So So yeah, just to put it that way. So yeah, there was no weight classes or anything, and he just get in there, go ahead, do it.
Have fun.
I did that to him for years, dude.
Yeah, man.
I did that to him for
my
years.
first fight and
Was
my
in
first
Puerto
tournament.
Rico.
This man takes me to Puerto Rico.
I didn't take it to Puerto Rico. He took it to Puerto Rico.
All I remember is like, just get in there. And I'm thinking, yeah, we fighting. It's supposed to be light contact. I ended up on the ground, like, and this guy like punching me, and the ref don't stop nothing. And I'm looking up, and I'm like, oh. He looks at me. He goes like this. He's like, what you gonna do?
So
Get up.
all of that comes from him. Because that's where I learned it from. So.
Oh man.
So go ahead, keep going. So.
Afterwards, like I said, the ref stopped it, and my father asked me after the fight was over. I was in the back. I was just getting changed and stuff like that, ready to watch the rest of the show. And my dad asked me, he's like, "Do you still want to do this?" Like, he looked at me dead in the eye. He's like, "Is this really for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it. It's really for me. This is what I want to do." Fast forward about 3 months later, I started training at Vamos MMA over in Calverton at the time.
Because that's the closer one at Riverhead,
that was the
right?
close, exactly.
Yeah.
I started training under Kai Watkins and Andrew Kahn. Those were my first two legitimate coaches to start getting everything going. And I wanted to fight right away too, which was like the fucked up part, because I just wanted, like, no, I want to get back in there.
Yeah, man. Some people like to fight.
Oh my god, my coach looked at me. He's like, "No, you're gonna fight 185." And I'm like 240, 245 at the time, and I'm like, "What the fuck you mean I'm gonna fight 185? you see this? Like, this is not meant for that. I can't." And he's like, "No, we're not gonna fight until you get down to that weight." So, I didn't evidently start fighting until Moses came in the picture, which was about 2018. I think early 2018 is where I started really training under Moses.
Wow.
So I've been with him up until this point now, and for the rest of my career, I'll be with him. But
yeah, it's a smart thing,
Smart
man.
move, man.
Don't.
I was just having a conversation just outside this door, and I'm like, how many people do you know on this island?
Oh,
and
you
it's
have
like
no
the
idea.
roots run deep
You have no idea.
around here.
You have
and
no
around
idea.
around the
So
country.
he's kind of modest because he has a record. He was ranked number 10 in the world in kickboxing,
Wow.
and he don't tell nobody that shit.
I didn't even know that.
No, he don't tell nobody that shit. He fought professionally. This man fought professionally. I come in the room and I'm watching it. I'm thinking it's just a run-of-the-mill kung fu school, And when I see the stuff that went on, I'm like, I had to think twice. I was like, this is some hard shit, man. Do it, because I went, went to other schools and things like that, and experienced in other schools.
Right.
We weren't great experiences, you know what I mean? But then I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be able to use the techniques and be able to say that I did real martial arts.
Right.
But that shit hurts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the tournaments now. I remember the tournament in Queens where we were fighting the
Guatemala.
Guatemalans. So here's a funny story, right? So me, because I'm an ignorant white kid, Guatemalans, I was like, all right, Guatemalan team, they're going to be little people. Guatemalans, right? So I was thinking, South America, Spanish, little, they're not going to be too tall. I'm not really a tall person, so I figured, we all be like the same height. They might be a little shorter. So I'm trying to get my game together, right? So, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, they're small, no problem. So we get to the tournament, and this was sanctioned. This was like a full contact fight, and it was accumulated points and everything else. And I was like, all right, this is cool, and I'm all excited. I'm listening to my music, and I watched this guy walk by. And he had Guatemalan team on his jacket. And motherfucker was like 5'10". Right? So he walked by, and I'm like, that don't seem right. And I was like, Shi Fu, these guys are fucking tall. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. Just come over here and go stretch over there, right? And then I see another motherfucker walk by, and he was like 5'9", 5'10". And these guys aren't little. And then the whole group comes in, and they're all big. Really big.
Oh, God.
So I look at him, and I go, I think that's the team. He's like, no, Konya, don't worry about it. Just come on over here. And he pulls me over to the side. He's like, Papa, don't worry about them. Just go over here and start training and stretch. So I was stretching and working out. And, coming to they get us. And because it was a karate tournament, they put us all the way in the back. You remember that? I was so upset. So they put us all the way in the back. And I'm thinking, all right, this is going to be light contact or, middle. It's like, it was continuous sparring. So it ended up being full contact. It was great. So, we all get in there and, Darren goes first. He accumulates points. Shi Fu goes in there and he starts fighting, and he drops the guy to the floor. The other guy jumps in. Darren jumps in. My guy jumps in. I was like, fuck it! I jump in. So we're all in a mosh pit, punching and kicking each other. 3 judges trying to pull everybody apart. It was a fucking fiasco. But the best thing about it is the experience of it, you know? And that's the biggest thing, is what you can take away from it is the experience of training and what works, what doesn't work. And for me, to train under somebody that has knowledge like this, to train under a fighter that's a fighter and not just a coach,
Right.
but a fighter who's been in the ring, who's been hit before, who's been kneed, who's been elbowed, who's been dropped to the floor, who's had the feeling of not wanting to get back up and get back up, right? And that's the person you want to stick with. That's the person you want to train with. And I'm blessed because he gave me Sifu Raul, Zongsha Creighton, all these fighters.
Who is on, by the way, Sifu Raul, and he said, "What's up, hermano?"
What's up, hermano? How you doing there?
So the best thing about it is that, you know, I was blessed to have all those people around me, and he's blessed because he has me and all those people, and you're blessed.
And believe me, similar shit was going down when I was coming up. 'Cause my man here was just like, yes, I invited people because instead of, you know, even going into the tournaments, he used to invite people to come to the school to fight.
Yeah,
so imagine that. You go into the fight in the tournament,
Yeah.
you know what you're getting into. You got people come to the school, and he's like, yeah.
Well, hold on, that wasn't my idea.
That
And he told us, he goes,
it's a friendly match between a friend of mine and some students.
yeah, but he said, don't worry. These guys, you know, they're not huge or anything. They're little people, blah, blah, blah.
Shit.
Dude, when I tell you, if you ever seen animation where, like, there's a gorilla has to bend down to get through the fucking door.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, these guys, and it wasn't one. It was like one after the other. They had to turn sideways to walk through the door.
So the whole thing is, you know, a lot of these guys had 30, almost 25, 30 years in, and we were young back then. We only had 4 years, 5 years in, right? Some of these guys were ex-military, ex-SEALs.
Oh, Jesus.
Some of these guys were 6 foot something, and they were like hardcore karate fighters. And then we're coming in, they was like, all right, well, we don't spar with no gloves on. Yeah, so you had those things, and we're all like,
those guys come from. They got a great pedigree. They come from Ramban Cliff and Chinese Goju. Those guys came and they wanted to step on you guys, and you know, and I knew that they were gonna come and do what they needed to do, but I needed you guys to understand what real fighting is about.
and that's why he did it. And I was happy. I was pissed at the time, but I was happy that he did it.
Dude, the only reason why you were pissed is because they wrecked your favorite shirt.
Tore my favorite shirt.
Dude, that's it. When I saw that shirt, this kid,
It was like a Bruce Lee
This-
movie.
You got a nemesis for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
man.
this motherfucker wore that white shirt that had, like, I think it was a tiger and it was a Shaolin monk or whatever. Dude, he wore this shitty ass, dirty white shirt for years.
Come on, man.
Dude, it was dirty ass. It was so beat up. So this guy grabbed it. It was like, whoosh, it was like a Chris Rock movie, dude. It ripped right off of his body. I was like, thank God, it's gone. But from that day forward, his whole personality
The whole
changed.
game changed.
I remember.
But he goes up and we had 3 schools back then, so all 3 schools were there, and it was supposed to be a good time, and it ended up being a good time.
It ended up being a good time.
I made a great time. But he goes up. All right, who's up first? And everybody was like,
Dude,
and I was the oldest guy.
it was like in the
oldest
movie.
student.
Everybody did this. And they all stepped back, and
And
he
I'm
was the only
looking,
one
I'm
stepping
looking
forward.
like, you-
Dude, it was like
I was like, you pussy motherfucker.
it was
I step up.
it was like a movie.
Yeah, I step up, and I'm the first one in there, and I get my cookies tossed, and everybody's like, oh, damn. You know? And then he's like, all right, next one in, next one in,
But
next
that
one
never
in.
ever happened
That
again.
never happened again.
That's it.
Never,
That's
ever happened
that
again.
was what he.
And
That's,
he used to do shit like that all
Two
the
black
time.
belts. 2 black belts that are extremely talented in those days from our school got their asses whipped really good that night. You know,
You talking about?
I'm not talking about anyone. I don't want to make no name. I'm not making a name. You know, that I know I'm watching them being swept.
Oh, I
and
know what
being
you're talking
punched
about.
and thrown around like a rag.
Yes, I know
You
exactly
know,
what you're talking about.
and then I'm saying to myself, you see that black belt you got around your waist, puppy? Now you got to stand up to it, otherwise just take it off.
Yes.
Because you know this a lot of systems give you a black belt, and it's a symbol of what you have learned. It's not a symbol of who you are. You know, we earned this black belt. It took us a lot of years, and we fought so hard to get it. So now that you have it, hold on to that. You know, have the pride and learn, because there's going to be people better than you all over the place. There's always going to be somebody better than you.
And I see in your picture you have a belt on.
Yes, sir.
So, explain that. Tell me about that.
That's Jackhammer Promotions. It's Bobby Campbell's show. That's the 185 MMA belt. I won that back last February 23rd, I think. February 23rd last year.
Awesome.
Before everything shut down.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, like he's talking about that black sash and you got to hold on to it because somebody's going to take it.
Yep.
Same thing. Somebody wants to take that belt from you.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you a little bit about Mike, because it's very matters too. Let me explain to you how I see fighters from my point of view. I don't take nobody serious until they show true determination and desire. Discipline, motivation, and desire. Once I see that, and then I look at the person. And I saw Mike, and I saw him training, and you know I saw a wolf inside. There's an animal inside. He wants it really bad, but he didn't grow up that rough. Not perfectly. Didn't have a swimming pool in the backyard. Didn't drive a Porsche, but he's a fighter. He's a fighter. He just needed somebody to
pull it out of
to
him.
go in and say, okay, this is how we got to do it. This is how we got to do it. Because if he's running, if he's conditioning, and if he's training every day, and if he's not improving, it's because it's not his fault. You got to have someone out there to teach you the fundamentals of fighting.
Right.
And if I can do that, if I'm going to spend my time doing that, it's because you got some qualities that I see in you, just like you guys. You know, pretty much, you remember so much of you, this guy here. Because he is not ever satisfied with his performance until he gets it perfect, and he gets frustrated. Oh man, you know, I had a bad night. I said, there's never a bad night. It's always an awesome night, even if your nose is broken. Because you learn. Every night you learn, and every day you learn. So you know, he stepped up to the plate. He's undefeated now with us. And
what's your record now?
It's 4-1. 4-1. And he's ranked number 12 in the state. Ooh. And because of COVID, we're not ranked 5. Because we were in the process to do that. So now we took a breather, because everybody had to take a breather during COVID.
Yeah.
But we still prepare ourselves. Right now he's fighting back to back to try to make up the time. We're hoping that at the end of the year he'll be ranked number 1 in the state. And then the following year, we are going to have another 5 or 6 fights. And then we're looking to have belt in 3 different organizations. At 185. He walks around 220. You know, I wanted him to...
Oh, man, come on.
205. That's his running and training. You know, if he lets himself go, he'll be
If any of us let ourselves go, we'll blow up.
Oh, man.
I only eat once a day, and I'm at 185 right now.
God,
so.
yeah.
And he's still growing. He's only 24 years old. He's still going to grow. So I wanted him to walk around 200 and make 185, but I really wanted him to go down to 170. So he tried that.
Wow.
And he was just not able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was rough, man.
So before we go any further, guys, I just want to give respects out there to everybody that's...
You got people?
Yeah, dude, we got loads of people. Burke, what's going on? Dan, how you doing? Katie, what's up? Thank you so much for being on. Eric, what's going on? Sparker Robinson! Sparker Robinson's on.
He never misses a show.
No, man, he is always on. Never comes to any of my workshops, but he's always on the show. Because the show is free. That's all right. I get it. I understand. Kenneth, what's going on? Israel, what's going on? Sifu Raul, thank you so much for being on here. Sean's on here. James is on here. Matt Lightning Lyle, brother, what's going on? Ryan Frank, what's going on? I saw Ryan at Vamos's the other day. John, what's going on? Matt, what's going on?
Ryan Frank,
Chuck,
my man.
And Matt Lightning Lyle, thank you so much for all the good input that you've given in. Carl, what's going on? Alan, James, Sifu Rick is on. Bilkis, what's going on? Dougie, what's going on? Jose Figueroa,
baby.
My big brother's on here.
¿Cómo estamos?
So so we got a lot of people on here, guys. Thanks so much for all all the love and the respect and everything else.
Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys supporting the show. Thank you guys coming to support and watching and learning about an up and coming contender here.
I'm blind. That says 8:35, right?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes. And and getting to know what the experience is, because, like I said, I mean, it gets glorified, right? So you got little kids looking up to you, and it gets glorified, but they don't know what you go through. They don't know the pain. They don't know the I won't say loneliness, but really loneliness.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean, of training, because it's all about you. I mean, even though you have training brothers and training sisters and coaches and all this stuff like that, but at the end of the day, he's telling you, but you're the one out there huffing and running. Right. You know what I'm saying? With your headphones in, and you got to like, I don't want to do this, but I got to do this.
Another fucking mile.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you eat them up like they're for dinner, right?
Yeah,
and the biggest thing is if you don't do the work, there's somebody out there that's always doing it. And that's what he would do every day.
You know what's fucked up? Just before we got in here, I was waiting for Moses to come in. I was doing push-ups in the parking lot.
Yeah, dude.
Because I missed my mark today.
Yeah.
I was slowly doing it. I'm like, I got to do about another 25. I was doing my fucking push-ups in the parking lot because I'm like, I don't know what time I'm getting home.
But see, that's the difference between a champion and somebody who's doing this part-time, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like Shi Fu Raul used to say all the time, he still says it, and Shi Fu Moises says it all the time, this is not a hobby. Right. This is a lifestyle, right? So, for me, this is a lifestyle of training. I lift weights 3 days a week. I hit the bag and fight and do 15 rounds twice to 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Even at my age at 50, I'm still doing that, and I'm making sure that I'm hitting 15 rounds. Yeah. I'm still running, still doing my forms, still teaching. He's doing the same, and it's just it doesn't fucking stop. It's every day.
And because of COVID, we haven't had any opportunity to do techniques with people and touch people and things like that. And we were just doing light sparring last Friday.
Oh, that was nice.
It was nice. You know what I'm saying? And you get a little rusty, your time is a little off, but if I didn't do that and I took off for the whole year, it would just be like, because you know what it is, you got people underneath you, got them Thundercats coming up, and it's like, Mike, man, let's work out together. Let's work out together. And all of a sudden you're going, boom, boom. You're like, oh, where the hell did that come from? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's you gotta stay in shape. You gotta stay frosty. You gotta still have teeth. You can't be walking around with gums all the time. You gotta have teeth, man. People blowing you up, man. People blowing you up.
Oh my god, that fucking kid Adam! I swear.
I'm just reading that.
He's one of the kids I train with. Fucking idiot. No, he's one of the kids. He's one of the kids I train. I love that kid to death. He's actually an up and coming fighter. He wants to fight when he gets older. He's only 14 now. Oh wow! But he's already rolling with the adults. He's training with the adults.
What's really great is
I got a fisherman too. That young.
Yeah.
I went there about a week ago, and I was watching all you guys. Hitting the bag and working out and working your drills and stuff, and just listening to him. I closed my eyes and I'm just listening to him talk to you guys. Oh my god, it brings me back to when I was like 12 and 13 and how we just used to yell and scream and tell you guys what to do. And it's like, for me to hear that again is just, it's just motivating. It's motivation because he's older than I am and he's still in there. So I'm motivated to continue my endeavor. By the time I'm 60, I want to be able to do 20 rounds with no problem and be able to hit the bag and be able to do stuff, because again, it's that quality of life. I don't want to be 50. I don't want to be 60 and look like I'm like 80.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You don't want to be
man. Yeah,
I'm able to move. And,
So let me ask you a question. So, what do you feel that the state of martial arts, and I do this for all the people that come in, and just everybody who comes in and everybody comes on the show, I ask them the same thing because I want people to understand where the state of martial arts is today, and how can we get it better. And I'm not being rude to people out there. I'm not being nasty. I'm not being, the negative Nancy type of.
You want people to wake up.
I want people to wake up, and I want people to realize that you don't go to a school because it's around the fucking block. You go to the school because it's got good martial arts in it. It's got something that's going to save your life. And martial arts is that. It's martial first. It's an art second.
And you train the system or the style that's suited for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, don't just go to karate because you saw Cobra Kai. You know what I'm saying? Don't go to this because, if you're into grappling, find a good grappling school.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're into kung fu, find a good kung fu school. Same thing, karate, taekwondo, whatever you want to train, find somebody that's good at it that got smacked in the face.
Find a good kung fu school. All right,
You know what I'm saying?
so
sir.
what is your take on the martial arts in today, like the state of martial arts in today's day?
I've actually been preparing for this question.
Oh,
I listened to you guys before.
Now I gotta find some new fucking questions.
So, I believe the state of the martial arts nowadays is, since there's a lot more exposure with social media, since there's a lot more openness and pages like McDojo Life on Instagram that expose all the fake black belts and all the fake martial arts and whatnot, even stuff like from the past, things like 80s, 90s, all these stupid VHS tapes that come out about how to defend yourself if a guy puts a gun to your stomach, like all this stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that the state of martial arts now, as compared to when you guys were coming up, because, not a lot of people were held accountable. You, the origins of jiu-jitsu was them storming other martial arts schools and beating the shit out of them and taking over their school. And if those guys couldn't fight, it's like, then what are you training these people for? I think the state of martial arts nowadays is a hell of a lot more advanced and a lot more of an accountability factor to it now than it was ever before because of social media, because, the exposure that's there now.
This man used to take us dojo hopping. So what?
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. So what you just said. So he used to take us, like, we would get to the school and he'd be like, "Get your gear, we're going." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go." Who pissed you off now? That was like the first thing I thought about. We ended up going down the road and visiting a school and just trying to have a friendly sparring match, that ends up,
Being a slugfest.
being a slugfest and really bad, or just a teacher backing down and not wanting to do anything at all.
Right.
So it was back then, dojo bashing was, it wasn't just jiu-jitsu guys, man.
Yep.
Dojo bashing was
It was a thing.
a big thing, and
Yep.
and we were part of it. And I'm not proud of it. Kind
Why
of.
not? Why not?
Kind of.
Why?
Well, so you know what? So, not that I'm not proud of it. I just,
Looking back on it?
yeah, looking back on it, there was definitely much better ways of doing things. But it did pull a lot of, because we didn't have the social media. It did pull a lot of frauds out of the.
That was a way of
Yeah.
holding people
Oh,
accountable.
no doubt. But the most important thing about that kind of nonsense, I call it nonsense now, but that
Go
was
ahead.
insanity.
I want to
wanna
hear
hear
this shit.
Was that as a student to have that at any given moment, to have another school and go out there and spar with other people that been talking stuff about your school, because that happens, a rivalry. Now we're there, and now you say, as a student, how much experience do I get? Do I get to fight any of those guys at any given time? Because we're switching every 3 minutes. We get another person, and after a while they say, we'd never want those guys here again, because those guys came here to fight. And it wasn't that. It was just the fact that this is what I teach.
It was the experience.
I teach more. I remember one guy once said, "What you're teaching is not real. It's not real." And I said, "Okay, why don't we just get on the floor and then we'll figure it out?" And he looked at me like. Then another time, I go into a tournament and he performed, and some master guy comes up to me and he was talking about him. He goes, "That's not real kung fu. That's contemporary." And I said to them, "Excuse me, if I punch you in the mouth, it doesn't matter what is contemporary or traditional, is it? Because that's what's going to happen if you keep talking shit." And that's, now I look back at that, I said, "Oh my God, that was not the right thing. That was not the right thing to say to this idiot." But I put him on his place. Another time, I go into a martial arts tournament, and there's a whole bunch of black belts having a meeting about the rules of the event. And there's one guy here who called himself 7, 8 degree black belt, but his belly was hanging out, so you don't know what kind of belt he had, right? So he's talking about rules and fighting, and I looked at the guy and I said, "Let me ask you something. When was the last time anybody smacked you? Why are you talking about fighting rules that you never fought in your life?"
Oh man.
Everybody was like, "Freaking guy is nuts." But you know what? we in the business of martial arts. And like you said, if your kids are going to college, you do research to send it to the right college. However, if your kid is 5 years old and you want to get him out of your house so you can have a little time at home and you want to have me time, you're going to take him to wherever is easy and convenience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this happens a lot.
Yeah.
And commercialized martial arts is not so bad for little kids, but it's bad when the guys say, look, and the guys fall. What they go like this. And the guys fall. That to me is like a whole different story. But you know what? If you are a legitimate black belt and maybe you never fought in your life and you talk a lot of stuff and you're online doing a lot of stuff, but you take the little kids and you teach them discipline and you make them do the homework and you make them listen to the parents and you make them do the homework and be good kids, okay, so your technique is not great, but you're doing a service.
Right.
Just know where the service ends.
Yep.
Just know that if you're working at McDonald's, right, you're not going to be a police officer.
No.
Right,
no,
so
no.
you can serve them fries, but you're still going to get your ass whooped if you try to arrest
What
somebody.
I'm trying to say is that those who are seeking for something, they will find it.
Yes.
And when people walk through my door and they come to my place, I know that they know where they're going. I know that they're not there because it's convenience. Right. And when they come to me, I interview you, and if I don't like you, I'm just not going to have you. I'm not going to train with you. If I don't think that, because I'm a decent person. I'm a good person. And I work very hard to get to where I am. And guys like this guy here, I'm envisioning him being a world champion at 185 in this
Oh,
country.
he talking about you. I was like, me? I'm puffing my chest out, man. I'm like, what?
No, motherfucker, this is the guy next to you.
I'm not going to get a phone call at
You
3 o'clock in the
old
morning
50-year-old fuck.
saying that the Mike is in jail because he beat up 3 people or he beat up a girl or something. That he's out there doing the wrong thing. What I don't to hear is about how he goes to schools and talk to children, how he goes to the areas and he talks to the community. During COVID, he goes out there to senior citizens to help them out. And these are the kind of things that he takes a Sunday out of the month and go out and feed the hungry and the soup kitchen. These are the kind of guys that I want to train. This is the kind of guy that I want to hold in that belt.
I gotta say, everybody that you've brought in so far has no ego, and I'm super happy about
And
that.
super intelligent.
Yes. Yes.
Super
To
intelligent.
be a champion, you
know what I'm
can't
saying?
be a moron.
Yes.
You can be a moron to
Yeah.
be a champion. And I mean this in a respectful manner. Because someone said to me, they are fighters and they are knuckleheads.
Now you know where I get this
Hey,
from.
yeah.
The term was malacas.
Yeah, well,
Back
that
in
was
the
back in the day.
That was the term.
That's the term. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Have a good night, Sean.
If a martial arts today and MMA is mixed martial arts, that means that the young generation now, they have to be stand-up fighters, they have to be ground fighters, they have to be in great shape, and they have to be thinkers. They got to be individuals that can play chess. You can just get any moron and put them in there against because they're gonna lose. There's a lot of knuckleheads out there. They got the muscles, they got the look, and they're screaming and all that stuff, and they hit the back very hard. But when it comes down to strategy,
They don't have it.
They don't have it.
they're missing something. Remember I told you a long time ago, I said, these guys are very, very, very athletic, and they look strong. So don't never look at the muscles, and don't never look at them warming up and get intimidated by that.
Yep.
Because
Some
when
of
it
that all
comes to
the
the
time.
fight, they'll make mistakes.
Right.
I remember that. And your professional fight with that jiu-jitsu dude, and we were all young. I must have been in the school maybe like a year or two, and he had a fight, and you were fighting too.
Yes.
And it was like that sanctioned fight. It was
I had a week to prepare for this
Yeah.
fight. He was like, "Don't worry about it." I was like,
It was
"Okay."
a Yangpang firehouse, so all the students are there huddling like, we gotta watch the fight, we gotta watch the fight. And this guy comes out, his opponent comes out, and he's like, got that, that lip and mean and shit, and walk into the ring and starts doom, doom, doom. And I'm confident. I don't know, I'm confident, but he looked mean as shit, and he's ripped and everything like that, and then all of a sudden you hear like the old Chinese music come on, and he comes out, he's like this, face all like nice and calm and shit. I'm like, damn, I don't know about this now. I don't know about this. So he gets in there and they square up, And this guy throws, and he's just like ducking, and all of a sudden it was just a flurry of punches and kicks, and this guy couldn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't do a damn
He quit.
thing.
He quit.
Second
quit.
round,
He
he didn't want to
quit.
come out.
He said he goes to me. I'm so upset. I worked out so hard, and this guy quit on me. I didn't even get started. I said that's why.
So
I
when he
said not to
started
worry.
whooping his ass, we were all like, like from the stands, because you never get to see that.
Right.
We didn't get to see that. I didn't get to see that. And to me, it was like a movie. Like me watching these guys coming up was like watching a fucking kung fu movie. But was real.
Yeah.
But was real. You know what I'm saying?
Zong Shi's on. Zong
Zong Shi!
Shi. How are you, people?
Yeah, and another man.
Another man not to fuck
not
with.
to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So and I'm sure you like you said, you're watching Tito Ortiz, you're watching all these people come up, and then sometimes you get to meet these people.
Yep.
And then you get to meet these people. They talk to you, and then what they do, they big you up. They big you up, right?
Yeah.
They're not assholes. They're assholes in the ring because that's what they get paid for.
Exactly.
But when they come to you and they're real with you, and there's like and you get to understand what it takes for them to get to that level.
Yep.
And there's dude, this is what you got to do. This is how you got to act. This is what you got to do. This is the business, everything like that. Because I want you to come up. You know what I mean? And
Just like you said before, don't worry about it. Let me tell you a little story about. Don't worry about it. June 27, he's defending his title at Jack Hammer's event, and
July 10th.
July 10, he's fighting a top contender for another organization. So look how much time is in between fights.
Yeah, not too much.
Damn.
13 days.
Yeah.
So the promoter said to me, "Bro, what if he get hurt? What if he get hurt?" And I said, "Are you kidding me? I'm confident enough that this fight for the title, it's only going to last like about 19 seconds, maybe a minute if we want to. I want him to get some rounds in, but we're going to get him out of there so we can focus for your bigger fight. It's going to be at the amphitheater in Hawksville on July 10th, right?
Yep.
He's fighting Mendoza there, and at the Jack Hammer's event, he's going to be fighting Torres, right? Carlos Torres. Carlos Torres is a great fighter. It's just, as far as I can tell, I never put down anybody that gets in the ring. You should never disrespect anybody.
No, never.
Carlos is a fighter that's been winning. He's a threat to us, but this kid is just he's not in this class. This kid is on the way to be a world champion. This guy is just he's the whole package. The whole package. Smart, he's fast, he's strong. He can kick, he can punch. If he takes you to the ground, it's over. If he gets on top of you, you're done. You're done. At 185, and I was
the one
worried.
you were telling me about with the leg lock?
No. That's
Sundar.
145 pounds.
Sundar, man.
Listen,
that guy's fucking crazy. I love that kid. Holy shit. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's another guy that's gonna make some big noise pretty
Oh,
soon.
yeah.
He's only 145 pounds. We got a guy here that's and 185 pounds is a lot of competition.
He keeps saying 185.
Yeah.
How much you weigh right now?
Right now, right this second, about 201, 202.
So he'll make the weight, and
Oh.
not only, the thing is that he'll go into that division, and he moves like a lightweight. He has fast feet, and he's starting to get those kicks in. In there.
That's those kicks.
Starting to understand it.
Yeah.
It's taking him a while, and then he's a southpaw, and he could fight both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's my specialty.
That's my thing too.
Switch fighting. He taught me switch fighting a long time ago. When I was fighting lefty and fighting righty, people couldn't understand
But
it.
when I was training, I was at the school, and he was showing me how to hit the bag, and he didn't know I was a southpaw, so I was hitting stuff righty, and he was like, "Why are you hitting the bag?" And he was yelling at me, and I was like, "Oh God, it's well, you're not hitting it right." And but see, I'm left-handed. Then why did you tell me that before? And then you had me switch and have me work with my left hand, But it was just like, he didn't. It didn't matter to him. He said you got to be good on your right and you got to be good on your left. Your opponent shouldn't know which is your favorite side.
Yeah, you can't be exposed. Like
Yeah,
that.
It's like baseball. If every single player could be ambidextrous, how would the world leagues would be like?
Yeah.
How would the baseball be? Everybody can throw for one hand and hit the other way, so everybody's confused. Because I remember I played. I'm ambidextrous. I play and I swing, and then the pitcher look at the corner and the coach and goes, "He's a southpaw. We didn't know that." I said, "What do you mean you didn't know that? You don't matter. I'm just going to hit the ball one way or the other." But in fighting, it's the same thing. I come from old school. old school boxing, they yell at me for switching. Oh, you can't be switching. Oh, you got you're right-handed. You stay right-handed. You know, and even in Southpaw, they switched into right-handed in those days. Back in the day, I'm talking about in the '70s, early '70s. You know, when people, the underdog man was still running around in the game, and all you smelled was sweat and urine and blood. That's what you smell when you walked in there.
Yeah.
You know, it smell like today. You got temperature controlled buttons in the schools and, mats that are clean and stuff. And none of that stuff. And back in those days.
You should hear Coach Tommy Bertone now whenever I switch. He's like, what, you swinging for both teams? What the fuck's going on here? I bust my balls every time.
Yeah, Tommy's awesome. We bring our guys there. We bring them out there because, again, when they go there and they do well there and they learn there, they are ready to fight. I don't let them go there until they prepare. Mm-hmm. When I take them there, I want to see how they react when they get hit. Because they're going to get hit there.
Yep.
With us, they don't, they work with each other. We play at 30%. We play at 30%. But when they're ready to fight, I want to see what's in your heart. And I cannot teach you that. No one can teach you that. Right. Or either you got this thing in here set up to fight or not. Because if you don't, join something else.
Go do ballet.
Ballroom dancing is very healthy. All right, but if the heart is not there, I can't
tell you how many times he told me that. Man.
Oh, yeah, I hear it every time.
I can't tell you how many times he told me that.
It'll take 5 minutes every class, and it's like, this is not ballroom dancing. You have to hit, you have to kick, you have to fucking jab.
And the thing is that no matter how you slice it, this is a brutal sport. I've been in martial arts all my life, and I'll be honest with you, this MMA thing is brutal. If you got guys training the right way, anything could happen in there. You could be the better fighter. That doesn't mean you're gonna win. Nope. Because you make a little mistake in here, and you're done. And if you got the wrong guy in front of you, you might never fight again.
Yeah.
It's crazy that these people, but what it is the audience, the public, the world love violence, barbaric sports.
Well, that's why the Coliseum was there, man. Back in the day,
Rome, yeah.
back in the day, there was a Coliseum when it was fucking cavemen. They all sat around a fire and beat each other up. I mean, it's just inherent in what we are and who we are. It's all about that understanding of alpha male and understanding that we're just competing for the herd.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just ingrained in us.
But, and because we are what we are, we love it.
Yeah.
But imagine people who spend all the time in front of the computer and having nice barbecues and stuff. They never fought in the life. They never got smacked. They never bled. So they look at this game and say, "Oh, this is barbaric." Yeah. I don't know why people like it, but people pay a lot of money to watch this fight. Yeah. $89 on pay-per-view to watch these guys? Yeah. Hell no.
No, dude, I'm too Jewish. I'm like, I wait a couple days, it'll come out. I'm not worried about it. Somebody's going to put it out on fucking YouTube. So Zongshire said, no matter your skills, it always comes down to, having heart.
Absolutely.
And that's truth, man.
I'm into that, brother.
And that's something that you don't see a lot in this generation coming up. I see a lot of, like how you mentioned about alpha males and whatnot, just competing for the herd.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that I see who want to fight who are not fighters.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the cream of the crop. I'm not saying I'm the best that's doing it or ever going to do it. But there's something either mentally lacking or spiritually lacking or whatever that people are just turning in. I'm gonna go on
say it, man. Say it.
People are just turning into pussies.
Yeah. Well, so look, I mean, and I get that. See, I want to fly a plane. I tell them that all the time, dude. I've always wanted to fly a plane, but you do not want to put me behind $1 million fucking plane.
I can tell you that from experience. I know what his vision is.
So,
I know what his eyesight is.
So
you don't want him.
Even though I want to do it, I'm never gonna do it.
Right.
I might fly one of those little Cessnas, and that's like a fucking Volkswagen with wings, and that's cool. I might end up learning to do that one day in my life, but I'm never gonna be a fucking jet pilot.
Right.
I'm never gonna be a surgeon. You do not want me with a scalpel. If you want to die, yeah, but other than that, you don't, right? So there are certain things that we are meant to be. And that's what happens, right? He used to tell us we're all just rocks in a sifter. And eventually, all the rocks that are not supposed to be there fall out, and the ones that stay in are the ones that are going to be the fighters.
Great way to put it.
You know, and it makes all the sense in the world.
And some people, don't know that they have it in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I came up, we had Friday night fights, and I mean every freaking Friday. Yeah. And back then, now you see in martial arts schools, they got all this protect. They got the shin guards, they got the arm guards, they got the head with the cage and a mouthpiece in it. You got a big roll cage like in a Jeep, and you still got a mouthpiece in. And then you got the big poofy gloves and stuff like that. So even you're slugging as hard as you can, there's no danger of getting hit.
Right.
Back when we were fighting,
bare knuckle.
it was we had the
Chuckies.
The MMA gloves you have,
Yeah.
but we had the first generation.
Oh,
Because they had the centuries on them.
We used to call them Chuckies.
Chuckies, because Chuck Norris used to sponsor them.
Yeah, so we used to call them Chuckies.
Yeah, so we had a mouthpiece, we had Chuckies, and you
And
wore
that's it.
these, and that was it.
That was it.
Wow.
And that was every Friday. So I was coming up,
No
and
Band Cup, no
I
nothing.
had dudes. I had a dude. He was like your height. He was like 240, all legs, Taekwondo, and he was like my older brother, but he would whoop my ass every Friday. You know what I mean? And I would come out of there with an eye jammy, busted lip, no trickling blood at the nose, and it was like every Friday. And I was like, I was into it, but I was like, I wasn't that inherent fighter.
Right.
But by doing that, it just like
Put you into it.
Put you into it, and all of a sudden you're just like, ooh, all right, I'm starting to like this.
Right.
And then you want more, and then you get hit and beat up more, and you're like, ooh, I want this. So some people are bred fighters from them little, and some people they discover it.
It's called evolution.
Yes, I went through a lot of evolution. Every Friday I was getting evolution.
You know what? It's like one thing that Moses says to us all the time is there's no such thing as a part-time gangster.
Nope.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of guys in the game right now, amateur pro, that are part-time.
Yeah, they're either you're either all in or you're not.
Exactly.
And if you're not, you're gonna get hurt.
Exactly. And it's just like that's I think that's one of the problems that you see nowadays, because a lot of people grow up, like myself, grew up watching UFC, grew up watching, Glory, Kickboxing, K1, all this other stuff, and, they talk the game, but they never try to fight. They never do it. They'll go to the bars and they'll beat up on some other drunk dude, and then say, oh yeah, I'm an undefeated street fighter, I came from the fucking streets, and they come into spar one night, and they're getting their ass tossed around. They're thinking like, oh, well, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm out of here. I'm still a fighter. I don't
It's
care.
amazing.
It's like, but it's just that's what we're kind of leaning towards too. And a lot of people like to do it for clout on Instagram, on Facebook.
Oh
and
yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that.
Everybody's a fighter.
Exactly. Everybody. Exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, everyone's a
everybody's a
fighter.
fighter.
Everyone wants to be that guy.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people don't want.
That's why I don't argue with people online ever again. One time he had an issue, and I said, "Bro, this is easy.
Yep.
When you get in people's faces, that's another story."
Absolutely.
But talking about going back to that aspect of the equipment, because MMA is such a hard sport. The guys constantly getting hurt before the fight.
Right.
I want them to wear headgear. I don't want the nose touch.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't want the knuckles broken. I don't want the chin guards beat
No,
up.
he never
You know
used to be
why?
like that.
Hold
You know
on.
why?
All right.
You know why? Because the 27, this guy is fighting, and the 21st, he did sparring, and his nose got racked. He can fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So what he just said, I want you to listen to this story.
Rewind the tape.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're gonna rewind back
Yeah.
to like
I
90.
have a story as well.
We're gonna rewind the tape back to 90 or 91, where we were in the school in Mastic, and some douchebag walks in off the streets and says, "I want to fight your best fighter." So Sir John Moses looks at me and goes, "Go get your gear on." I'm like, "All right." So I went to go get my gear on. This guy, he said he was a Green Beret. You remember this fucking idiot? He gets on the floor. I smacked this motherfucker with everything. I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink. I stopped for 1 second to help him out because I felt bad because I was murdering this kid all over the floor. And he's smiling like a little kid. And then I stopped to help him out, and the kid turns and goes like this. Elbows me in the nose. Rips my nose wide open. Right here, ripped wide open. I throw up my gloves. I jump on this kid. Shija gets in. He's separating us. I walk into the back room. He's like, Carlene, get the needle and thread. And I'm like, needle and thread? Like, what the fuck? So I go into the back, and I'm going to the bathroom, right? So he doesn't want anybody hurt. So he wants to get the needle and thread out. You got to needle and thread me here. so my nose is gonna be twisted like this because I don't know how well he sews, right? And it wasn't like one of the hook needles that you'd normally use. He's talking about a fucking regular needle that some person's gonna be sewing a shirt with. He's like, go get the needle and thread. I'm not gonna have needle and thread in my nose. I ended up going to the hospital. I was like, no, I'm good. I said, we're not in Puerto Rico. I'm good. I'm going to the hospital. I went to the hospital. I had 30 stitches on the inside and
Jesus.
25 stitches on the outside, all micro-stitched and everything else to put my nose back together again. But he's telling you, he don't want nobody hurt. I had a fight, I think, the week after.
Yeah,
And I was cautious because my nose was swollen. I looked like I did like 5 rounds with Tyson. I didn't look so good. But
I learned my lesson. Fools will go where angels don't dare.
I'm sorry you had to be the guinea pig for that.
oh, dude. But, so now everybody wears gear, but he didn't want any. He was like, no gear. Get on the floor. That's how you're gonna get hit.
I grew up bare knuckles, and it was normal. I don't know. I was saying to my kid the other day because he started to train now, the young kid, and he was like, "Oh man, my finger hurt," and I said, "Let me explain something." To you. I when I was your age, we used to spar every day, every night. Well, it was sometimes the instructor called for the sparring, but if he didn't, we stayed after and we sparred because a class without sparring, it was no class. So that was my mentality. But in those days, we didn't know what headgears were or mouthpieces. They were bare knuckles. And hitting the guys hard in the face was pleasurable. It was pleasurable. Even though you loved these guys, you wanted to break his nose, and he wanted to break yours. You go home every night with something was wrong. You lost a tooth, or you got your nose busted, your black eye, and my family looked at me like, this is what you want to do with your life? So I'm not a good-looking kid anyway, so I don't. That's why at least I got bottle scars. But today is so much at stake that I don't want any of these guys, and they do get hurt a lot.
Yes.
They do get hurt a lot because this rolling jiu-jitsu thing and wrestling is very hard on the body.
Yeah, I'm walking around with 2 sprained toes right now.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
My thumb comes out of socket sometimes. My shoulder's all fucked up. Hey, if you can hear it, I can click it.
Yep.
It's
There it is.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few of those too.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, nothing holding this fucker in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit!
Yeah.
Nothing holding that in.
Yeah. And I want I can remember a class. This was right after I got my black sash, and he used to have a class. I don't even remember that. He used to have a black sash class in the Rocky Point School.
Okay, all right.
Once a month.
Yes.
So there were 8 of us there, right? So he's like, all right, we're going to take this training up a notch. So he starts pulling out wooden boards. And I never did that before. He's like, all right, punch through that board. So all I can think about and hear him in my head, you don't do it, I'm whooping your ass. Because he used to say that to me. I used to be fighting in a tournament, and he'd be off to the side. I don't know how he did it. He'd be somehow behind the guy so I could see him like, better whoop this motherfucker's ass. You better whoop his ass.
And where do I get it from?
You know?
He used to tell me I was in the Bronx fighting. If you don't beat him, if you don't win this tournament, you walking the fuck home.
That's what my brother says to me.
I'll call your father, you're walking the fuck home. I'm like, I don't want to go home that way. I look at the guy I'm fighting, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking sorry, but I'm getting a ride home tonight. I'm getting home, and it ain't going to be by walking.
Yeah, so I square up with this board, and I was like, all right, either the board's going or my hand is going. So I went right through the board, and I was like surprised, but he did that for a reason, and then he pulls out this wiffle ball bat. He's like, you guys think you good? You guys think your technique is good? And we're all like, yeah, we're all cocky. He's like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we good.
We're good. So he had a wiffle ball bat, dude. It was, imagine this, and if it was a real bat. He said, I'm going to swing 1 or 3 ways, and you guys got to stop me. And with 8 of us. And we all got up, and he was just like, dong, 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 dong. 8 of us. And it was predictable swings. He was swing low, mid, or high. You know what I mean? And 8 of us went down. He's like, look at that now. I had 8 black belts. Now I got 8 cripples.
Hey, Soder is there, and Tristan White is there too as well. Yeah. Hey guys, Mariano is there. Yo, what's up, player?
Come on, boys. Tristan kicked the shit out of me this past Sunday, and I'm just like, all right. I love this. I still check in with myself every once in a while. I'm just like, do I really still enjoy getting hit? I'm like,
yeah,
this is great.
It's
That's the one thing he was saying about, like, you know, having headgear on and gloves. And like, I fucking hate headgear, man. I really do.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing.
It's like all I'm seeing is like
you
it's like
can see
riding on a
nothing.
horse.
You can see
I'm
nothing.
like, fuck, you know what?
it's
Fuck
like
this.
it's like being in a
And then
VR.
your
It's like
head,
being in
your head gets
VR.
really, really hot,
Yeah.
and you get tired quicker. But the thing is that once you put you keep the handicap on you for as long as you can.
Yep.
When you take it off and you see it all.
Oh yeah, I say fuck that. I'm just gonna take that. My jaw will hurt tomorrow. All right, fine, fuck it. Just come on.
I got to be able to see. I want to see it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see it coming, man. Without a doubt.
Uh.
I'd rather see it coming and get hit.
So yeah, he's fighting June 27 and July 10 at the amphitheater, and then on Jack Hammers he's going to be defending that title there, and he's going to be fighting there. And then I'm hoping that right after that, within a month's time, he'll be in another event. I'm trying to get him to fight out of the country so he could get that international experience.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Fun.
so he might be going to Puerto Rico to fight there or Florida, one of the two.
Yeah, just to let you know the rules.
Oh, there's no rules. I bet. Oh, you bet.
There's no
those are-
lawyers.
those are more like
There's no
guidelines.
lawyers.
Those are more like guidelines.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bobby Campbell's having another show. I think July 17th. So I looked at Moses. I'm just like, man, you know, it's
You know,
still
you're young now. You can do stuff like that, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
So good to see you. Looking forward. We got to get together and we got to have lunch, brother.
This Saturday, I'm doing a 3-section staff seminar at his school.
Oh wow, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so really excited about that. So if you guys are not part of that,
Yeah, shame on you.
shame on you.
Shame on you.
So
you.
guys, we gotta wrap it up. We're already at 9:11. We're already 10 after, so they're gonna bump us off.
Wow.
Anyway.
All right. So yeah, thank you for having us.
No,
Thanks,
thanks
Oh,
so much.
thank you guys.
Thanks so much. I appreciate
because
it.
we need
Thank you so much.
to interview more people like this. Because he does all the promotions and getting people on the interviews and stuff like that. And I come in, I was like, "What's up?" He was like, well, "I call this person. This person don't want to come in. I call this person. He wants me to send me to his press agent. He don't want to come on. You know what I mean? And it's so hard to get people on that want to be interviewed. That want to talk honestly about themselves.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many people around. You know what I mean? So it's a pleasure to meet people, that are in the game and stuff like that. Because
That are living the lifestyle.
right, and living the lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I know this lifestyle. I don't know the MMA lifestyle. It's similar, but the things you got to go through, I never went through. You
Dude,
know
I've
what I
never
mean?
been this close to you before. Do you shave your arms or something? You shave
He's
your
French.
motherfucker?
He's
I'm getting
he's from the island. He's French.
I'm getting prickled by this motherfucker. You're talking to people, I'm like, why are you all prickly for?
It's called manscaping.
Dude, fuck that.
The ladies like that.
Dude, man. I'm like getting pricked by you. A little uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
So it was great. It was great being here. And in the near future, we got a team. It's a Vamos MMA team. We have about 15 people in the team. They all have something special to bring to the table. Some of them are green. They're still in the beginner levels, but they are selected, and they work very hard. And we're hoping that this team is gonna go places.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got killers at every weight class.
Awesome.
Every weight class.
Awesome.
And I gotta say, everybody that Shi Fu brings in, I have to say, everybody is just well mannered, well behaved, humble, respectful, and that's what that's what the game needs now.
Well, that what you call is a martial artist.
Yeah.
That's what you call a martial
But
artist.
we see what's really out
Yeah.
there, so it's
Yeah.
refreshing to see this.
Yes.
A lot of guys want to be McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. You know what? I used to be a big fan of McGregor. There was a story where he was driving down the road and somebody had a billboard, and he actually stopped his car, went up and said, "Thank you so." Actually went to this guy's apartment, thanked him for being his, being a fan and everything else. And to me, that's the real shit. But then when you start to get crazy and you start throwing shit at fucking buses and you start losing yourself, when you start drinking your own fucking Kool-Aid,
That's what he did,
that's
man.
and then that's a problem because then you lose the integrity of the art. You lose the integrity of the fight.
They forget where they came from.
Yeah, man, you can't
He was
do
double
that.
fisting Kool-Aid. That's what he was doing.
Dude, and you know what? It's nice to see. It's refreshing to see people that are winning championships, winning titles, and they're still grounded. They're still grounded.
Yeah.
So,
I know you get that from him because you remember what you used to say to me all the time: the perfect state of a human being
Is to be humble.
Yes. And back then, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But coming up, because you can't learn fighting unless you get your ass whipped.
Yep.
And I came up with a lot of ass whipping.
and that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that ass whipping makes you humble. It makes you humble because you understand what it's all about. Yep. And you come up with people who do all the squawking and all the McGregoring and stuff like that. And McGregor's been in there. He's fought wars.
dude. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's a fighter. He's a champion in his own right.
And you have some people that are like that have the mouth like that. You know what I mean? But in his own way, he is a good person.
Yeah,
in his own way, he is a good person.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the guy because when he lost some major events, he took it like a man.
Yep.
He didn't make no excuses and he didn't ring them out. Say he's a better man to me, and it is. You win some, you lose some. And that's it.
Reassess.
And with that being said, vamos. This is the official drink of the Vamos MMA team, baby. So
Tiger
enjoy
Life.
it whenever you get a chance. Get into the Tiger Life, baby, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And the authentic Shaolin Kung Fu is also by Tiger Life. Just to put it out there. So families stick together. So on that note, guys, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Thanks for being here. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on, Mike. Thank you so much. Shi Fu, thank you so much for being here.
Wolf.
Yep. So up and coming champion right here, man. Keep an eye out for him. Again, the Vamoses, the MMA Vamoses, and with
You got anybody
Shi Fu
you want to
Moises?
shout out before we end this?
Yeah, tell them where they can find you. Where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram, Mike Basile MMA. It's actually pretty easy. Just write my name and then MMA. I'll pop up right there. I want to give a shout out to my parents, my brother, all my coaches, my friends, family. Everyone who supports me. Honestly, it wouldn't be the same without you guys. And to have you guys here,
I gotta do it.
to have everyone in my corner is special. It definitely gives me a drive to to keep going, and to my beautiful girlfriend as well. She's I'm a bit of a mush. I won't lie, I'm a bit of a mush, but
It's all good, bro.
she is definitely a cornerstone as to why I'm still doing this. She gives me all the motivation I need to, continue with it. I have my reasons. I don't want my parents to ever work another day in their life, but I also don't want her to work another day.
Hey, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And all the people who don't support us, that's what I gotta say.
Gotta love it.
So on that note, thank you guys so much.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Be well.
All right.
Support us. All right, guys.
Train real, get real.
Talk real, get real, and...
Bye, baby.